further bad news for Leicester. Lock Harry Palmer will not feature until November after undergoing a knee operation. Horse racing now, and James Doyle picked the right one from 3 choices as his bosses at Watnan Racing topped an amazing week at Glorious Goodwood with victory in the Coral Stewards Cup with Evening Saigon. The win was a feather in the cap for the owners, who target this fixture with a vengeance, but perhaps more telling, it was the second major handicap of the week for Qatari-born trainer Hamed Al-Jahani. Having also won the Golden Mile with Archivist when Doyle picked the wrong one, Al-Jahani was able to celebrate a famous victory with the whole team on this occasion. And finally, it's cricket and results in the 100, starting with the 100 women. Birmingham Phoenix women beat Welsh Fire by 7 wickets. Southern Brave women beat London Spirit women by 5 wickets. And in the men's 100, Welsh Fire men beat Birmingham Phoenix by 7 wickets before Southern Brave beat London Spirit by 5 wickets. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Chelsea have confirmed the signing of striker Danny Welbeck from Brighton. The former Manchester United and Arsenal forward, now 35, has signed a 2-year deal at Stamford Bridge. Neither club has said what the transfer fee is. Brentford have confirmed the signing of Mali midfielder Mamadou Sangare from Lens for a club record fee. The 24-year-old joined on a 5-year contract with an option for a further year. No fee was reported by the club, but they say it surpasses the £42.5 million paid to sign Dango Ouattara from Bournemouth last summer. Portugal defender Antonio Silva says he is excited to join Bournemouth after signing for the Cherries in a deal worth up to £25.7 million. The 22-year-old joins from Benfica, where he's been a regular since breaking into the first team in 2022 and has featured in the Champions League, Europa League and Club World Cup. It is a key signing for Bournemouth, who identified replacing Marcos Senesi following his free transfer move to Tottenham earlier this month as a priority. Roberto De Zerbi says Tottenham don't know whether forward Richarlison will stay at the club, as he sometimes wants to leave. The Brazil international scored a last-minute winner as 10-man Spurs beat Chelsea 2-1 in a high-profile friendly in Sydney. After the match, De Zerbi was asked whether Richarlison, who has entered the final year of his contract, would leave this summer. De Zerbi said, "I don't know, because I like him as a player and as a guy. He's unbelievable in terms of attitude and behaviour, but in the end we have to respect what he wants to do." And former West Ham co-owner David Gold's daughter Vanessa has confirmed the family plans to sell its share in the club to a consortium headed by ex-Newcastle co-owner Amanda Staveley. Reports had suggested Gold's family had been holding discussions with Staveley's consortium, which also includes her husband Mehrdad Ghodoussi, over a 25% stake in the Championship club. And in a statement, Vanessa Gold said, "I have now reached an agreement to sell my family's shareholding to a consortium of PCP Capital Partners led by Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Ghodoussi in a partnership with Ashland Forest Capital Partners. While the process has not yet concluded, I wanted to be open with our fans about where things stand and my intentions." And some results on Saturday, starting with the Scottish Premiership: Falkirk 0, St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 2, Hearts 1. And in the English League Cup preliminary round, Tranmere Rovers 2, Rochdale 2, Rochdale 1, 2-1 on penalties. Rugby League now, and Warrington scored 7 unanswered tries to come from behind and beat Castleford 48-18 to boost their flagging playoff hopes. Meanwhile, York Knights piled more misery on Ailing St Helens as they recorded their first win over them in 80 years, holding off the fight back to triumph 34-32. On to golf, and England's Lottie Wood and Charlie Hull are both in contention heading into the final round of the AIG Women's Open at Royal Lytham and St Anne's. Wood carded a 1 under 70 on Saturday to sit at 3 under par, while Hull recovered from 3 early bogeys to sign for a 71, leaving herself 5 shots behind leader Ye Lee Minot at 2 under overall, with the leader at 7 under, 3 shots clear at the top. Tennis, and Cameron Norris' promising run at the Los Cabos Open in Mexico ended with a 3-set semi-final defeat by defending champion Denis Shapovalov. Norrie had returned to some form by reaching the last 4, having previously lost 6 matches in a row, but was ultimately beaten 6-3, 5-7, 6-4 by his fellow left-hander. Rugby Union now, and Leicester Tigers back row Amika Ilioni, who has not played since January because of a shoulder injury, has been ruled out until at least the end of 2026. Further bad news for Leicester, lock Harry Palmer will not feature until November after undergoing a knee operation. Horse racing now, and James Doyle picked the right one from three choices as his bosses at Watnan Racing topped an amazing week at Glorious Goodwood with victory in the Coral Stewards Cup with Evening Saigon. The win was a feather in the cap for the owners, who target this fixture with a vengeance, but perhaps more telling, it was the second major handicap of the week for Qatari-born trainer Hamed Al-Jahani. Having also won the Golden Mile with Archivist when Doyle picked the wrong one, Al-Jahani was able to celebrate a famous victory with the whole team on this occasion. And finally, it's cricket and results in the 100, starting with the 100 women. Birmingham Phoenix women beat Welsh Fire by 7 wickets. Southern Brave women beat London Spirit women by 5 wickets. And in that, the men's 100, Welsh Fire men beat Birmingham Phoenix by 7 wickets before Southern Brave beat London Spirit by 5 wickets. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Chelsea have confirmed the signing of striker Danny Welbeck from Brighton. The former Manchester United and Arsenal forward, now 35, has signed a 2-year deal at Stamford Bridge. Neither club has said what the transfer fee is. Brentford have confirmed the signing of Mali midfielder Mamadou Sangare from Lens for a club record fee. The 24-year-old joined on a 5-year contract with an option for a further year. No fee was reported by the club, but they say it surpasses the £42.5 million paid to sign Dango Ouattara from Bournemouth last summer. Portugal defender Antonio Silva says he is excited to join Bournemouth after signing for the Cherries in a deal worth up to £25.7 million. The 22-year-old joins from Benfica, where he's been a regular since breaking into the first team in 2022 and has featured in the Champions League, Europa League and Club World Cup. It is a key signing for Bournemouth, who identified replacing Marcos Senesi following his free transfer move to Tottenham earlier this month as a priority. Roberto De Zerbi says Tottenham don't know whether forward Richarlison will stay at the club, as he sometimes wants to leave. The Brazil international scored a last-minute winner as 10-man Spurs beat Chelsea 2-1 in a high-profile friendly in Sydney. After the match, De Zerbi was asked whether Richarlison, who has entered the final year of his contract, would leave this summer. De Zerbi said, "I don't know because I like him as a player and as a guy. He's unbelievable in terms of attitude and behaviour, but in the end we have to respect what he wants to do." And former West Ham co-owner David Gold's daughter Vanessa has confirmed the family plans to sell its share in the club to a consortium headed by ex-Newcastle co-owner Amanda Staveley. Reports had suggested Gold's family had been holding discussions with Staveley's consortium, which also includes her husband Mehrdad Gadusi, over a 25% stake in the championship club. And in a statement, Vanessa Gold said, "I have now reached an agreement to sell my family's shareholding to a consortium of PCP Capital Partners led by Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Gadusi in a partnership with Ashland Forest Capital Partners. While the process has not yet concluded, I wanted to be open with our fans about where things stand and my intentions." And some results on Saturday, starting with the Scottish Premiership: Falkirk 0, St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 2, Hearts 1. And in the English League Cup preliminary round, Tranmere Rovers 2, Rochdale 2, Rochdale 1, 2-1 on penalties. Rugby League now, and Warrington scored 7 unanswered tries to come from behind and beat Castleford 48-18 to boost their flagging playoff hopes. Meanwhile, York Knights piled more misery on Ailing St Helens as they recorded their first win over them in 80 years, holding off the fight back to triumph 34-32. On to golf, and England's Lottie Wood and Charlie Hull are both in contention heading into the final round of the AIG Women's Open at Royal Lytham and St Anne's. Woad carded a 1 under 70 on Saturday to sit at 3 under par, while Hull recovered from 3 early bogeys to sign for a 71, leaving herself 5 shots behind leader Ye Lee Minot at 2 under overall, with the leader at 7 under, 3 shots clear at the top. Tennis, and Cameron Norris' promising run at the Los Cabos Open in Mexico ended with a 3-set semi-final defeat by defending champion Denis Shapovalov. Norrie had returned to some form by reaching the last four, having previously lost 6 matches in a row, but was ultimately beaten 6-3, 5-7, 6-4 by his fellow left-hander. Rugby Union now, and Leicester Tigers back row Amika Ilioni, who has not played since January because of a shoulder injury, has been ruled out until at least the end of 2026. Further bad news for Leicester, lock Harry Palmer will not feature until November after undergoing a knee operation. Horse racing now, and James Doyle picked the right one from 3 choices as his bosses at Watnan Racing topped an amazing week at Glorious Goodwood with victory in the Coral Stewards Cup with Evening Saigon. The win was a feather in the cap for the owners, who target this fixture with a vengeance, but perhaps more telling, it was the second major handicap of the week for Qatari-born trainer Hamed Al-Jahani. Having also won the Golden Mile with Archivist when Doyle picked the wrong one, Al-Jahani was able to celebrate a famous victory with the whole team on this occasion. And finally, it's cricket and results in the 100, starting with the 100 women. Birmingham Phoenix women beat Welsh Fire by 7 wickets. Southern Brave women beat London Spirit women by 5 wickets. And in the men's 100, Welsh Fire men beat Birmingham Phoenix by 7 wickets before Southern Brave beat London Spirit by 5 wickets. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. Let's start with football, and Chelsea have confirmed the signing of striker Danny Welbeck from Brighton. The former Manchester United and Arsenal forward, now 35, has signed a 2-year deal at Stamford Bridge. Neither club has said what the transfer fee is. Brentford have confirmed the signing of Mali midfielder Mamadou Sangare from Lens for a club record fee. The 24-year-old joined on a 5-year contract with an option for a further year. No fee was reported by the club, but they say it surpasses the £42.5 million paid to sign Dango Ouattara from Bournemouth last summer. Portugal defender Antonio Silva says he is excited to join Bournemouth after signing for the Cherries in a deal worth up to £25.7 million. The 22-year-old joins from Benfica, where he's been a regular since breaking into the first team in 2022 and has featured in the Champions League, Europa League and Club World Cup. It is a key signing for Bournemouth, who identified replacing Marcos Senesi following his free transfer move to Tottenham earlier this month as a priority. Roberto De Zerbi says Tottenham don't know whether forward Richarlison will stay at the club, as he sometimes wants to leave. The Brazil international scored a last-minute winner as 10-man Spurs beat Chelsea 2-1 in a high-profile friendly in Sydney. After the match, De Zerbi was asked whether Richarlison, who has entered the final year of his contract, would leave this summer. De Zerbi said, "I don't know because I like him as a player and as a guy. He's unbelievable in terms of attitude and behaviour, but in the end we have to respect what he wants to do." And for
back to the corner taker, Fowler plays it back to a more central position. We'll save that Kilmarnock are getting bodies out. They're trying to press quickly with John Jules and forcing them all the way back to Holt, the skipper, who's just inside his own half. Plays a square pass into Mitchell. Looks to keep the possession going. It's been a good start for the host so far. Mitchell, though, is forced to go back. Might have to go all the way back to the goalkeeper here. Diabate under pressure. Nice turn in the middle and a ball over the top there. Looking for the run of Gullen. Too much on it. Goes back to the keeper, and Kilmarnock's number one plays it long. It's an opportunity now. Can it fall for Hugill? Nods it on with his own head. He's got a battle with Mitchell. Does well to hold it up there, does the Kilmarnock number 9. Back he goes to the left-hand side, now into John Jules, who's in the penalty area, takes a touch, and he wanted Lowry there to run to him. It's a really good idea, but Lowry had almost gone, right, you're on the side, I'll sit back, be your supporting pass almost, and just a bit of a miscommunication there, a little bit, but that's a part of, it does still feel quite pre-season-esque, doesn't it? The first few games are always going to be that way, so that's just maybe a couple of players just still getting into the getting chemistry with each other and getting in a rhythm at the start of the season.
Yeah, exactly. The rhythm's so important as well in these two games. In this game, should I say? Like we said, these two sides looking pretty even in this opening 5 minutes. No one's really had any chances. It feels like it's St Johnstone who's had most of the possession so far in front of that home crowd, looking to make an impressive start to this season, to make their mark on the Scottish Premiership. I think a lot of sides will have taken a bit of inspiration from Hearts last season as well. That I don't think anyone expected Hearts to have the season they did. So a lot of sides will think, right, get a decent start, we maybe can just have a weird little bit of belief for a bit of the season to just challenge it and push Celtic and Rangers. And I think Celtic and Rangers are probably in their rockiest of patches that we've seen them in a long time in terms of this division. So I think every side in the Scottish Premiership really does have to take that into account.
I think you are spot on with that. You feel that this is maybe a season as well that it's an opportunity for Celtic and Rangers to bounce back, but it's also an opportunity, I think you're right, where they will have looked at what happened last year and gone, you know what, if we can get a bit of confidence about ourselves, who knows, maybe we could tackle and challenge the big boys of this division. St Johnstone coming forward, Kilty, the skipper, drives forward, fizzes it out to the left-hand side for Matty Folds, who is forced to go back so quickly. And it's been a big start and a quick start so far between the sides. For St Johnstone, Stewart in goal. Back forward of Smith, Mitchell, Diabate and Folds. With Holt, the skipper, partnered by McAleer. With Stanton, Gullen and Fowler supporting Payton, who leads the line in a 4-2-3-1 for the host. Whereas for the visitors, Kilmarnock, Shrajek is in goal. Back forward of Klesenko, Brown, Stanger and Larson. Midfield four looks to be quite maybe a diamond, if you will, with skipper Kilty, Shibola, Lowry and Ring. And a forward two of John Jules and Joe Hugo. Left hand side into the feet of Fowler, who pokes it off the defender and wins a throw in. As Kieran rightfully said, we're just about to hit 7 minutes in, but it has been the hosts who have had most of the ball, have had not chances, but they are controlling the game. They're happy to have a bit of possession, and maybe you would say, as you rightfully said earlier, Kieran, they're going to have momentum coming up. It's the first game of the season, you're hosting. They had that little bit of a celebration prior to the game that just with the lifting of the trophy, celebrating in front of the home fans. It's almost maybe Kilmarnock do understand, right, the first 10-15 minutes we might have to weather a bit of a storm and then go from there, then we can play our football. They have won a free kick out of the field though here of St Johnstone.
Yeah, exactly. And being newly promoted and the home team in St Johnstone, it's a huge thing, isn't it? It's almost a perfect draw in that sense that I say draw as in the fixture list. That they can really just drive into this season, get the home crowd involved, and really take the game to Kilmarnock. Both sides yet to create a proper chance, but the free kick whipped in, can't beat the first man, but the clearance isn't a great one, and he's giving away a very cheap corner. Yeah,
it wasn't a good delivery, as you rightfully say, but it was tit for tat, really. Poor ball into the box, really poor clearance. Simo Valakari won a promotion in his first full season, did the Finnish coach, as he was in charge of St Johnstone. It was an impressive season, winning the league by 11 points, finishing on 77, 11 points above second place on 66. So this is the second corner. It will be another in-swinger into a good area. Once again, heads go up, cleared only to the edge of the area. First time strike comes in. That might have taken a wicked hit for Fowler there, but still forward comes St Johnstone. Left-hand side, ball into the box. It's blocked away well, and it will be another corner. Well defended by Shibola, but he can only force it out for another corner. And down for the moment is Kilty, because it was a strike from Rhys McAleer, and he did strike him on the side of his head. It wasn't a wicked strike, watching a replay back that I did a moment ago, but still it did hit him quite flush on the side of the head. Gullen will in-swing this corner again into the front post, flicked on. Good idea, but just poor execution. 9 minutes in, still goalless so far. St Johnstone 0, Kilmarnock 0. But I like to see it's a positive start from the hosts.
Yeah, it is. They've been the better side by quite some way in this opening 9 minutes. Kilmarnock really struggling to really have any passes of the ball, any real momentum, possession. They're just playing out from the back now, but there's a real press to St Johnstone's game so far. There's Fowler applying that pressure, forcing the long ball, and they've won the throw-in. So it's been a good start for St Johnstone. I tell you what, Kilty, better man than me, taking that shot to the side of the head. I think I'd dropped to the turf because it was a bit of a rocket. It wasn't a tame shot, was it? So yeah, it looked a powerful one, but he stayed on his feet and he cracked on with it. So fair play to him.
Well, it's one of them as well where I couldn't tell you if that was off in the top corner or off into the top stands, because it's just one of them where, because it's blocked away, you never know where they're really going. But a few as the ball is just had a player for a throw, and a few familiar faces in the stands. Martin O'Neill and Neil Lennon, of course, the current Celtic boss, maybe just eyeing up well, I've got my Sunday afternoon free. Of course, Celtic do play tomorrow night game you can catch on this service, as well as Hibs and Motherwell at 4:30. Myself and Kieran will be on that as well. St Johnstone down the left-hand side, Folds with a ball over the top to Holt, heavy touch, trying to keep that in play. Always stretching for it though. Here's the St Johnstone skipper, and out of play for a goal kick for Kilmarnock. As we said, no real chances so far. Looking at the stats, there has only been 2 shots both coming from the host. One that was off target and the other one was that blocked shot, you'd have to say, so can't really call that a shot on or off target. Kilmarnock now just trying to get on the ball a little bit. Lowry to the right hand side. A bit of possession now for the visitors, as I say, with trying to weather that storm of the host. Back in front of fans in the top league, as that's a poor pass and a poor touch. He's opened it up now for the host to drive forward. Stanton, ball into the box, lovely ball, header is saved. Is there an offside flag there as well? That might just save the blushes of that Kilmarnock defence. I think there is, as the goalkeeper Steyek does go to pick the ball up there. Poor pass to just give St Johnstone an opportunity, and it's a good ball, but watching it back as well, I think that's really poor play from Gullen, because he never even really attempts to get back into an onside position.
No, that might be the most obvious offside you'll ever see. And we see some pretty obvious ones, and the linesman didn't need to keep his flag down for very long, did it? Of course, had to get his flag up straight away, or St Johnstone would have got a corner. They would have benefited from that situation. But miles offside. Decent ball in, but made decent because, of course, he was completely on his own. But really impressed. Opening 12 minutes, we talked about that momentum that newly promoted sides have, not just in the Scottish League, you see it in the English leagues as well, you see it everywhere. It is just the momentum of coming off the back of celebrating. So all these home fans are coming in happy because they've just come off the back of an incredible summer, an incredible season watching their side last season. So you really do see that, you really do sense that with newly promoted sides in the opening couple of weeks, and I think we're kind of sensing that in their performance so far without creating any chances really.
No, I think you're right in that. It's always that first maybe 5-6 weeks realistically for any side promoted where there's a lot of confidence. It then usually gets into the winter months, doesn't it? And that's where you can see those promoted sides drop off or thrive. For example,
it's where depth shows.
Yes, for example, Sunderland, where Leeds United did very well last season in the Premier League. Here come the visitors, ball poked forward for Hugill. Too much on it though, out of play for St Johnstone goal kick. But I think you're spotting there. We do see sides, as you rightly say, it's about depth, but the first 5 or 6 weeks, as confidence, as momentum, he seems to really carry on, and then you get past that, get into the 10th game week, the 10th round of the season, give or take, and then that's where the quality, the depth, it really does start to separate promoted sides. Here comes St Johnstone. Mitchell plays it forward again. They're having most of possession, give or take around 70% for the host. It's a lovely ball from right to left to find Folds. Although Kilmarnock do press it very well. They're sat back, they're not pressing really high, the visitors, but they are just stopping those passing lanes and cutting them out. Left hand side, Foles will float one into the box. It's deflected away, and he can't get there, can Brown, so he's forced to relinquish another corner for Kilmarnock. Like I said, maybe 10-15 minutes worth of a storm, but they do seem to be struggling at the moment.
Yeah, they do. It's a lot going down the left so far for St Johnstone. They're getting a lot of joy in that area. I wouldn't say it's necessarily an individual that's causing them a lot of problems. I think there's always just it feels like one more man down that left-hand side. Corner whipped in towards the back post.
It's a good ball into the back post as well, and charging it down was Smith. It's just unfortunate. I feel it's just coming from such a height that it's a good delivery, but he's also defended very well. Well, I thought at first he was watching it back. Not maybe so much, it has to be said. And if anything, he kind of just puts his head down, and I feel if he probably actually puts a jump on that and nods it down into the ground, that could cause the keeper a few problems. Here they come. That's a mistake at the back there from Brown and Stanya. As both of them are looking at each other, are you going to go? The goalkeeper's at fault as well there. Pokes it out for a corner, but the referee this afternoon, John Baton, I think actually has pulled it back for a free kick possibly. But that was poor from the defence there. Maybe even a little push, I'm not too sure, as the referee has pulled it back definitely. And St Johnstone will have the free kick, so maybe because he thought it was a foul, it wouldn't have been a corner. He has pulled it back, but again, getting away with one there, Kilmarnock.
Yeah, exactly. Playing up from the back again, there's a real press. Like I said, it alludes to the confidence in the camp. St Johnstone, ball whipped in is a dangerous one. It's headed away, but not completely just as of yet, but it's a really good start. They just need to start turning it into shooting opportunities now, getting some shots off. Do St Johnstone, but yeah, they'll be delighted with the start. Yeah,
I think with Valakari, that's the one thing you probably will think. Could we maybe have had a few more shots? Could we have tested the keeper just over 15 minutes into this contest? Ball forward, well held up there by John Jewels, and Kilmarnock will stride forward to the left-hand side. Klesenko, good tackle there from Smith, and he might have even knocked it off of the Kilmarnock man. No, says the linesman and referee, and it will be throw-in for Kilmarnock, and they will have it at the back with Stanya into Brown. And the two centre-backs do just hog the ball for the moment. Shibola in the middle looking for options. As Kieran said, good press on. That's a mistake in the middle. And here come the horse. Down the left-hand side, ball picked out. Can they create something here? Down the left-hand side of the box, ball pulled back, opportunity, strike comes in! And it's Fowler with the opening goal. That's what Kieran's been talking about, the confidence, the press, and it comes from a mistake in the middle from Shibola, but that's because there was nothing on for Kilmarnock. Lovely forward ball in the end. Stanton picked his time, he just slowed it down, and then the ball came back in on the left-hand side, and Fowler, maybe even a little bit behind him, maybe swinging his leg at it in all the best ways. It's a lovely finish from the number 9, but it's a mistake in the middle. They counter-attack and they make them pay. It's a lovely counter-attacking goal. 16.5 minutes on the clock. It's St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, and a really nice cutback as well from Cullen on the left-hand side, but that mistake from Shibola, he's got the ball on the halfway line. He's almost just slightly moving with it. Almost stands on top of the ball, slips on top of it. It is the definition of a mistake you would see on the first game of this season. It's almost like you're still in that pre-season mentality almost. You've got to get out of that, and I'm sure he will in the coming weeks, but that is such a big and poor mistake as well. Lovely cutback from Cullen, and there was Fowler, who's been buzzing around that number 9 area, hasn't he? Of course, he's donning the number 9 shirt as well. It wasn't the cleanest of finishes. He kind of scuffed it into the near post, but because he was in such close proximity to the goal, the goalkeeper just was left with no real chance. That could have been a handball.
Now here come Kilmarnock look to respond. Hugo in the penalty area. Could have been handball, as Kieran said, against the number 9. And then tries a 1-2 with John Jules, but it doesn't come off. And in the end, it will just trickle into the arms of Stewart, who's had very little to do in that St Johnstone goal, you'd have to say. If anything, it's a lovely afternoon at McDiarmid Park, and I'm surprised Kilmarnock haven't tried to just have a few pot shots, because how many times you see goalkeepers that can't see the ball coming with how bright the sun is. You never know if you don't test them. But St Johnstone, well, they've got one. They're 1-0 up, and at the moment, well, they look like they want to go and get a second as well. I will say that Holt and McAleer, they're definitely in midfield. It's the back four that I definitely said. But that front four is, and to me, when you do play with this front four or front three, however it is, fluidity. It either works a treat or you really struggle because your positions don't get picked out. For example, Fowler is the number 9 at the moment, but Gullen's gone to the right, Gullen's gone centrally, Stanton's they're all moving together. It's almost as long as we have one striker and 3 players in behind this 4-2-3-1, we're quite happy with whoever it is. And it's been really good to watch so far. And I think that's why Kilmarnock have struggled. They are trying to get into the game now and are back on the ball. Lowry into John Jules, so has dropped a little bit deeper. Maybe that's out of frustration, maybe that's out of feeling like he's been played out of the game. But that front four, I'll just call it, of Stanton, Gullen, Fowler and Patton, they seem to have a real good chemistry about themselves.
Yeah, well, the system itself, 4-2-3-1, became very common, didn't it? That an absurd amount of teams used for a long time, and kind of became a little bit stale, quite easy to play through. But if you use it as a fluid almost system, like you've just said, people moving around, making things unpredictable, closing all angles depending on like the type of areas that you're in or the type of areas your opponent's in, then it really can still work. And St Johnstone are showing that in this opening 19 minutes. Kilmarnock, it's been half a response, hasn't it? They've had all the ball since conceding a few minutes ago. They've just won their first corner of the game as well from the right hand side. Good challenge in from Folds to give away the corner, but this could be just that opportunity to instill a little bit of confidence in the visitors.
It could be. Just get that first chance out of the way, if you will, get that opportunity. It will be their first, I won't even say set piece, definitely their first corner. It's 4-1 in favour of St Johnstone. They've not even had a dangerous free kick that I could sit here and say that they can take advantage of. Of course, Fowler, 24-year-old. The goal right inside the corner is taken short. That's another mistake. Kilty will find the ball and put it into a dangerous area. Headed into the 6-yard box. They haven't cleared their line. St Johnstone put back into a good area. John Jules goes to poke it away and try and poke it in the back of the net. I think he has caught Stewart really in the sternum there. And as soon as he did it, he put his hands up saying, look, I didn't mean to give the keeper a kick in there. And it's brave goalkeeping from Stewart. I thought it's a lovely ball in from Kilty after mistake on the right-hand side. Once again, as you said about Shibola, it's almost that's pre-season, isn't it? You're not firing all cylinders. It was a decent header put back in, and it's just hooked back in. And John Jules, if the keeper isn't more aware of that, though, that could have been an easy tap-in and an easy equaliser.
Yeah, it could have been. I think Kilty's lucky as well in the build-up because he's gone down, rolling around, claiming for a penalty from his cross. And I think he's dived so clearly. I mean, we'll have to get a better angle of it. We've not been shown a good replay of it so far. John Jules has actually been yellow carded for that challenge. That seems a little bit harsh in my opinion, but he's picked up a yellow card for that challenge on the goalkeeper, who never really even stayed down. It just felt like one of those that he had to go for. But yeah, I thought Kilty may have dived in the build-up.
No, I agree with that. Well, we saw the ball come in, we didn't really see it at first, did we? And then we saw the replay back, and definitely agree with you. I think it was, at best, soft is what you could call it, wouldn't it? But I do agree it was more of a simulation. He's lucky to not get away with a yellow card. But yellow card for Tyrese John Jules for a midsection high boot, if you will, going for the ball. As Kieran rightfully said, Stuart, the shot stopper for St Johnstone, kind of just understood you're not trying to be malicious, you were going for the ball. I came out. If John Jules gets a first touch, the keeper looks a little bit silly, whereas the keeper understood, right, I'm going to take a bit of a whack here in the stomach. But I'm going to come away with the ball in the end. But it's been a good opening, just over 21 minutes here for St Johnstone. Kilmarnock are struggling to get involved in the game, and it did come from a mistake in the middle for the goal from Fowler. Now Kilmarnock up to John Jules, who has struggled, although himself and Hugill are playing as a duo. They are quite wide, if you will, as it looks to be quite a 4-4-2 diamond-esque for the visitors. But Hugill is really on that right-hand side. John Jules is really on the left, so although you say, two up top, or they're going to get together, they're going to be in close proximity, they can link up. It's not happened at all for the visitors this afternoon so far. Diabate, just inside his own half, at walking pace at the moment, looks to play a ball over the top. Fowler's going to chase. That first bounce just means he's never going to get on the end of it, and Kilmarnock will have the goal kick. But we are just over halfway through this first half. What a great first half it has been for the newly promoted side at St Johnstone. Fowler's at 16th minute strike. The difference maker here is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 0. Unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action of this Scottish Premiership clash this Sunday afternoon. But to take us through to half-time, pass you over to Kieran.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lewis. As we now see Stuart in possession for St Johnstone, and it's St Johnstone, the side that have the lead, as Lewis just mentioned, a deserved lead as well, in my opinion, that they've been the better side for 23 minutes, haven't they, in this game? I think that is a fair assumption to make in this one so far. As we see Diabate at the back, he thought about a long ball, he carried it forwards himself, and it's nice football again. Unfortunately, they didn't find the initial target, but it's recovered by Gullen. Here they come on the attack. Thought about a strike from distance, did Holt, but he finds Smith with a wicked ball in towards the back post. And if you're Smith, you've got every right to be frustrated with no left winger steaming in, 'cause it's a great delivery as McClare presses it, and then there's almost a mistake at the back. There's a pull on the shirt of Hugill as he does force the mistake, and he keeps possession as well. Kilty on the attack, turns away, decent counter-attacking opportunity there, but he was forced back in the end, and Shibola can find the centre half. Stangiet goes to the left-hand side to the number 21, Jonning Larson. Larson's in possession still, opens it up to the left-hand side where we see Ring for his first, what feels like the first time we've really said his name. Forward ball looking towards Hugill, who ended up just running, didn't even look for where the ball was. I think if he turned around, he would have seen that the ball was right next to him. In the end, he had no clue. He was almost just blind running, hoping that the ball landed in front of him, and it fell into the goalkeeper's hands, but that could have been a better opportunity.
100%. And also, I don't think Diabate knew where it was either, so if Hugill was just maybe if he just turned his back to the defender for a second, he could have definitely come away with the ball. And I think that's the sun in play, that maybe both players know, right, if I look up, the sun might catch my eye, so I can't really see the ball anyway, so let me hope it drops and falls for me. It was just a bit of a let's put a ball into a decent position from Larson on the left-hand side. It wasn't a bad idea at all, I would say, but yeah, at the moment, I think if you are Neil McCann, just seeing pictures of him, because that's what I'll say, you would be really frustrated, I think, in this opening 25 minutes. Just because it's nothing against St Johnstone, but when you've been on the ball, you've been poor. That's the big thing. St Johnstone have been good, doesn't mean you can just be poor. They just haven't responded. To go 1-0 down, they've responded better. But to go 1-0 down and then respond, I think as a coach, that's where the disappointment and frustration could come into play.
Yeah, that's a great touch down the left-hand side. I believe it was potentially parting with it, but in the end it's intercepted. There's a lovely touch there in behind, and then he puts it through the legs of the St Johnstone fullback, and here they come on the attack. It's a nice ball in behind for Hugo, who gets there. Good counter-attack for Kilmarnock, looks for the cutback, looking for John Jules. It's a tame cutback from Hugo, but that was some lovely play. It may have been Clasenso on the right-hand side. The right-back just bombing forwards, getting through 2 challenges brilliantly. But the forward ball to Hugo was just as good as well. But Hugo's cross into the penalty area, not good enough, and it was well dealt with. But here's Larson now in possession. He finds Lowry. Larson again goes across towards Stange. Plays it all the way to the right-hand side for Shilte Brown. That's going to be Clasenso. Into the middle for Shibola. It's well intercepted, and then a strong challenge in, and intercepted again by Pearson. It's now going to be Gullen. Goes to the left-hand side with a decent ball to Folds, who keeps it alive, plays it all the way back for Holt, who's just dropping in the number 8. He's almost, at times, like a third centre-half in this St Johnstone side. As you see Folds with a long ball over the top, looking towards Fowler. Physically and aerially, a bit of a mismatch, doesn't win it. Shibola wins it back just about. Seems very calm when he's in possession, but for the goal, he was too calm.
He was, I think, maybe a bit too nonchalant, as you're saying. I think you were spot on what you said. It was such a, you would see that in a pre-season friendly, wouldn't you? Because you're still kind of getting back to that full fitness, just full mentally as well. You've got to think that, haven't you? You've had that time off, so you're just not there mentally. You're not as crisp and as ready as forward thinking of, right, the pass is over there. It will take a few weeks and games, and again, the Scottish Premiership, I know, always starts a little bit earlier than the Championship and the Premier League and other leagues. But again, if you'd have had maybe another week or two, Shibola does not make that mistake, because I think he takes a touch, gets his head up, and probably sees, oh, there's no one there. Well, I'll drive forward then. It's a mistake that he'll learn from. But yeah, what you will say is, well, apart from that, we've defended St Johnstone pretty well, but it was a big mistake, obviously.
Yeah, huge mistake from Shibola, but we now see Shilte Brown in possession, goes all the way back to Strijek. Feels like they're probably having their best spell, maybe since Lewis handed over to me around the 22nd minute. As I say that, occurs to the commentator, huge mistake at the back from Clasenso, and they drive forwards. It's Holt to the left-hand side. He finds Pearson, cuts onto his right boot, goes for goal. Big save from Strijek. It almost lands at the feet of Fowler. The attack still alive though. Big moment in this one. A great chance to double their lead that's been well saved. Gullen with a dummy and well intercepted by Clasenso, trying to make up for his mistake. I'll come to Lewis in a moment, because it feels like this attack hasn't completely washed out just yet. It's Fowler on the edge of the box. Ball to the left-hand side, intercepted by Kilty, and they can finally put their boot through the ball. But what a great opportunity it was. Like I said, Strijek had to make the save, which he did. The attack's back on for St Johnstone. No real time to just let up. As you see Stanton with the ball towards Holt. He plays a heavy pass into Gullen. Great touch from him. Keeps going. He goes for goal from distance, and he hooks it just wide. Well, he did well to stay on his feet, because he would have got a free kick in a really good shooting position, but he didn't want to go down. 2 good opportunities for St Johnstone. Well, that's the last time I'll credit Kilmarnock in this one, because I gave them a bit of credit, and it's one of the bigger mistakes you'd see. Would have been just as bad as Shibola's.
It would have been, and what I will say, I'm not saying it's the wrong pass to Peter, but I think the pass to Fowler might have been the better option. Still, it's a great pass, great strike, great save. It's not that I think it was. It's just one of them where Holt went to the left. I thought Fowler was the better option, because he would have had a better one-on-one opportunity. He's already scored against the goalkeeper as well. But yeah, Kilmarnock, they've been their own worst enemy so far with the mistakes they've made. Down the left ball comes in, it's blocked away. I will say at Holt, as you said, he fizzed it into the feet of Gullen. But the idea for the pass was, to see that pass and just dink it forward was great. I felt as well for Gullen, it was always curling wide, as you said. But it also was, because of the heavy touch he had to take, he never got the ball out of his feet, that it was always underneath his feet, so he could never get a clean strike. Long throw coming up here for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, long throw from Kilmarnock into the penalty area. Very easily dealt with once again. Approaching the half-hour mark of this one. It's flown by. That's just because myself and Lewis delighted to be watching league football. Again, feels like the season started, doesn't it, today, with a couple of games, a double that myself and Lewis will be on. We will be covering Hibernian versus Motherwell in the game after this. We expect that one to be a good game as well. Probably the better one on paper, but I think for half an hour this has been a really good contest.
100%, and as well, it's what you spoke about, the confidence, though, isn't it? That, and this is no offence to St Johnstone, but maybe if this is a game of St Johnstone that just avoided relegation last year, like Kilmarnock, and it's two sides of that ilk, maybe you won't see this confidence from the host. But as you said, it's sometimes very weird, isn't it? Because you do go up as a promoted side from winning nearly every week to, we might lose a lot this season. It's a weird feeling, isn't it? So they want to come up and, like you said, make a mark on the league. St Johnstone were in this top flight for so long that it felt weird that they weren't in the Premiership last season as well. So they want to ensure that doesn't happen again. As you said, get off to a good start. Would be a bit of a scalp. I know Kilmarnock did have a poor season last year, but they were qualifying for some European competitions in the summer of 2024. So they just had a down season for me, and they will want to bounce back. But they are struggling. I know we're just over half an hour in, so we've got just about 15 minutes or so left of the first half. But I think Kilmarnock could do with they could have done with a hydration break and a talk with their coach at the moment, because they are struggling.
Yeah, they certainly are. Not creating any chances at all in this. It does just feel like they're missing a midfielder to really just get them up the pitch. I feel like St Johnstone have been very good in midfield so far. It feels like Holt's so advanced and involved in this one. The number 11, Stanton, he's dropping so central at times. Gullen, he's dropping deeper to carry them forwards. Doesn't feel like either of Shibola or Lowry are attacking-minded midfielders or ones that are confident enough to pick the ball up and drive them forwards. We see Shibola now, who's trying to do so, gets a little bit fortunate as I say that, but his forward ball is so poor and easily intercepted. That's a lovely touch as well from Mitchell to get away from his man. We see John Jules going into the challenge, had to be careful as well, because if he was late in that challenge, could have been in trouble with him being already on a yellow card. That forward ball, a rare mistake from St Johnstone in possession. Stanton gives it away, and here's Shibola, looks for a 1-2, but once again his pass isn't good enough, and Diabate's driving forwards now. Good run from the centre half. He finds Fowler, who's not had too many touches apart from his goal in this game, but he drops to the right hand side, looks for a ball into Smith. Smith gets it back on the right, first time cross deep towards the back post, decent one, well defended by Clasenso. Has to swipe it out for a throw-in. And once again, St Johnstone are knocking on the door.
Yeah, but it's just simple. And Diabate as well. I think what you said about the two midfielders, I like the partnerships on the field at the moment. I like the two centre-backs, I like the two midfielders. Diabate, too big, too strong there. Ball into the box, header going wide there. Decent ball in. I just feel, unfortunately, there that Stanton was just reaching for it a little bit, just not enough over it, unfortunately. It was just not enough for Fowler and then a little bit too much for Stanton, if you will. But I like the partnerships that they've got on the field. Smith and Folds, they're not too attacking, but they're not out of position either as fullbacks. How many times do you see a fullback not track back and leave spaces behind? They're not doing that. So at the moment, I really like the game plan. That's a poor pass along to the right hand side, has to be said. But Kilmarnock, I said they were 4-4-2 diamond, because they've got four central midfielders basically, haven't they, with Kilty, Shibola, Lowry and Ring. But they're playing as flat 4-4-2, so the wide midfielders, it's not the natural position, so I think that's why they're struggling. And they've just 33 minutes in, they've just not got going at all.
Yeah, they certainly haven't. As we see a good strong challenge in from McLear, but I think Lewis is spot on. There's just good partnerships, it seems, at the moment from St Johnstone. All seem to be on the same wavelength, a real system. Feels like there's an identity to their style at the moment, which is quite clear for us to see as neutrals, to be able to see that in 30 minutes for a newly promoted side in the Scottish Premiership. Credit to them, because that's not easy to do. As we now see Shibola, he's once again been caught in possession and it's won the free kick. The St Johnstone fans on that far side are not too happy with the decision. I thought maybe he won the ball, but he might have been too aggressive in the upper body department as well. I don't know. I think he's lucky there, Shibola, because he definitely wins the ball. It was Payton with the challenge. Definitely gets the ball in, goes shoulder to shoulder. I don't know. I didn't think that was a free kick.
Well, I don't know. I agree with you. I just think it was really good from Payton. Again, maybe as you say, if Payton, not clever, because I do just think it is a good shoulder to shoulder. I'm stronger than you. I want it a little bit more than you. I do think it was a bit of that, but maybe if he could have done it a bit cleverer, then the referee would have let him get away with it. But once again, here comes St Johnstone. Yeah,
back heel down the line. He's a clever one, looking for Payton. He does well to keep it in play and puts it through the legs of Shibola. And they just about clear their lines, Kilmarnock, and they've done well to win it back on that right hand side. Well, Shibola's having a bit of a mare out there, isn't he, in this opening 34 minutes. Feels like he's at the heart of everything wrong so far for Kilmarnock, which isn't really trying to pick on him, but he's definitely not had the greatest of games for his standards, formerly of Aston Villa. So probably explains why he's more confident in possession. Seems very confident, but he's making the mistakes. Ball in from Smith. You can see the idea, wanting to just drill it in towards that front post. Just a little bit overhit and into the goalkeeper's hands.
I just like as well how direct St Johnstone have been without just lumping a ball forward. They're trying to play nice stuff out there, but they're just trying to put dangerous balls into the box. Like I said, you can see the idea. Great ball there, won by Holt, and here they come again.
And here they come on the attack. It's Gullen on the edge of the penalty area. He's got Holt. He ignores him, goes for goal himself. I think that's the wrong decision because he got closed down. He had a lot of space to go for goal just before. Waited till he got closed down to have the shot. Should have shown a little bit more patience there, but here come Kilmarnock on the counter-attack. Kilty dinks ball in behind. Once again, no composure in Kilmarnock's attack. And I'll tell you what, Stewart's come out and cleared his lines. He probably didn't have to smash it out, did he? For a goal, for a throw-in, should I say. But yeah, once again, Kilmarnock on the counter. Just wasteful.
Quite frantic, isn't it? And Kilty's a really good passer of the ball, we know that. And as well with Stewart there, I think that's why Fall just boots it away, because he feels like we're going to probably collide into each other if you take the ball down or I do. So let's not make any mistakes here. Kilmarnock once again there, that's poor, and they might get a counter attack. St Johnstone, that'll just be cleared away. I think you're right there. Gullen, he should have played. He should have. What he did is he slowed it down for a second to stop the defender, and I thought he was doing that to then just roll it into Holt. That was what we were doing. Instead, he did the opposite. If he wanted to slow him down, and then that meant the defender pause. So he did block the shot. If anything, you want to keep going if you want your own shot. I thought it was that almost lean back, pause, then you roll it to your teammate so he's got a bit of space. That was the option. Or just keep going and go for the shot yourself. But yeah, he should have played it into Holt. But again, it's Holt and McAleer. They're winning the ball so well in the middle, then playing it quickly, trying to get it to their forwards. Here come Kilmarnock into the box.
Yeah, big opportunity, and they found the back of the net. And how on earth are we living in a world where Kilmarnock have levelled things up in this game? A deep ball into the penalty area, knocked down across where it came from towards the back post, and there was Kilty, the skipper, steaming in from only a few yards out, and he hammers it from close proximity into the back of the net. The goalkeeper left no chance. Stewart, just a little switch off at the back, ball to the right hand side, just a simple one. The ones that they've not been doing it pretty well, Kilmarnock so far, carving opportunities. It was a lovely run, lovely cut inside ball, knocked in, headed down by Lowry. He's onside as well. Lowry's header going in beyond Kilty. I guess what they'll claim is, did John Jules interfere with play, and was he offside? I wasn't really focused on his positioning. I was more focused on Kilty. Kilty definitely is onside. John Jules looks very tight, looks like he could be on, but it was a lovely play from the number 8 ring on the right hand side, and there's the finish, and it's 1-1.
It's great positioning as well from the finish from Kilty, because he's just he's almost who's marking him. I don't even know who's marking him at all, who should be, because he's onside, but he's well onside, as you say. But you watch it and you go, how is he onside? Because how has he got that much space, if you will? I think it's a great ball, as you say, from Ring, and a lovely ball. I love the header from Lowry down, checking offside. Well, if the offside is for Kilty, he's definitely on. I think it's what you rightfully said. It's John Jules offside, and then is he stopping the play?
Yeah, exactly, and we're going to wait for the decision to be made. I believe the goal stands. Like I said, they'll have been checking John Jules' positioning, because Kilty was absolutely onside. Good movement from him, but a great knockdown from Lowry as well. So many times you see the ball almost trickle down for a header at the back post, almost a half chance, but players still just try and go for goal anyway, because it's the reactions. They don't have a long enough time to do so. But he knocked it down knowing that that's what he wanted to do. Yeah,
and I think that's just unselfish play. A lot of players would have just tried to get your header on target. He's almost just done, just can I keep it alive? Yeah. Can I knock it down? Let's be honest, he was probably thinking, where's John Jules and Hugo? That's who I want to knock it down for. But then it was Kilty who's found a great position and great play. That'll give Kilmarnock a lot of confidence as well, it has to be said. St Johnstone, maybe that'll just drop their heads a little bit. Kilty, well, nearly a chance there, but he's done well defensively there, has Mitchell, just to get his body in the way, knew exactly what he was doing. Because you look at the stats, that's Kilmarnock's first shot on target. I'm not saying you just because they've had, I mean St Johnstone had 2, so the goal and the strike from Payton that was there. I'm not saying that just because they've had an extra shot, but you say 1 shot, 1 goal, 40 minutes into the game, 2 shots to the total. Now is where you need to take that on, and who knows, maybe they could get a goal before half time and take the lead.
Yeah, maybe they could. As we now see Kilty in possession again, and Kilmarnock, I guess the positive for them is they've played woeful and could be going into the break with a 1-1 draw. Absolute perfect scenario for them, and that's got to be the wake-up call for them, in that sense that we've played that bad and we've managed to get the goal. Imagine we were just completely on top of it. Imagine we were playing to their standards. Well, that's what they'll be saying to each other at half-time. For St Johnstone's point of view, well, it's going to be incredibly frustrating, because they had that chance, didn't they, through the left-hand side, where Gunn cut inside and forced the save from Strižek, and they'll be so disappointed that they weren't able to double their lead. But let's see how they can respond now to conceding a goal. We now see Payton. He's been caught out by Shibola, and Shibola's on the counter, picks a pass to the left-hand side, and it's Lauer, and it seems like the tails are up for Kilmarnock for the time being, as we now see Hugill. He looks for a dinked ball in behind. It's a great ball towards John Jules as well. He's clattered the goalkeeper with, I tell you what, probably a worse challenge than his first one that he got booked for. They're both left down in a heap. I don't know. I never thought the first one was a yellow card, but by the referee's standards, well, then that's a yellow card as well. But I don't think it is. But it was a dangerous one, but also one that he had to go for.
Everything you said is spot on there, but that's the problem the referee had, because if the referee would have let the first one slide, which he definitely should have, you just go, this one maybe is that yellow card because you've got through it. Both the goalkeeper's got eyes on the ball, John Jules got his eyes on the ball. Goalkeeper comes out, John Jules has his leg up to try and just poke it in, try and just as it comes down, tap it home. Stewart takes a bit of a knock. If anything, he goes flying because of himself as well, and they do collide. But at that moment, again, as you say, well, if that first one is a yellow card, that's what, if I'm Valakari and the rest of St Johnstone, I'm saying, well, how's that not a second yellow card? It's not that you even agree that it is, because I think you're right. The first one for me, it's not a yellow card. It's just two players going for the ball. There's a collision. Unfortunately, John Jules catches Stewart in his stomach area because he's going for the ball. And again, both players knew what was happening. And if anything, John Jules is the one who's still on the deck and maybe ended up a little bit worse, if you will. But he had his leg up high for that one. So, like you said, it's that consistency, isn't it? And it would be harsh, and I don't think he's going to give it. But then you look at the referee and say, well, why was the first one a yellow card? Because he had his leg up there. He catches Stewart. He almost nearly tips Stewart over, doesn't he? Because he catches him on his left leg. So I don't think he's going to give a second yellow card at all. But as you rightfully said, that's a problem with the consistency right there.
Well, I see it more as Stewart's caught John Jules in his face, because Stewart's the one that's bolted out towards him. And he's cleared the ball. That's perfect. In no world am I ever saying that's a penalty. People collide, and it's just fair in football. I think a lot of people forget that sometimes. But yeah, maybe this one in the sense that it is so clear that John Jules, the whole time as the ball's looping over him, he's looking at the ball. He's not even looked forward once at where the goalkeeper is. Also, away from the challenge, it's a great ball from Hugo. Really good idea. Dinked ball in behind that. Credit to the goalkeeper, because he was so alert to it. Most goalkeepers wouldn't get there, and John Jules would have had a great chance. Imagine we was going into the break with Kilmarnock in the lead. Now that would have been a big shock. John Jules is still down there. It's quite clear blood drawn to the face. There was a white piece of tissue that's gone completely red after dealing with his face from the physio. But the cameras linger on Fowler, because it's him that got this game kick-started with the opening goal. A nice little scuff finish into the bottom corner. But as of the last few minutes, Kilmarnock levelling things up against the run of play. Undeserved, you would say, through Kilty, the captain stepping up, as you would always expect them to. And we're now back underway as expected. No punishment for John Jules, and rightly so.
Oh, rightfully so. And like you say, it's one of them where Stewart catches him maybe a shoulder or an elbow to John Jules' face, and then he nearly swipes him over because he's going for the ball. It is just a collision, as you say, and probably a bit of a... Right, it's a free kick. It's a free kick for the goalkeeper, but nothing more. It's just I'm surprised St Johnstone weren't more in a bit of an uproar because of the first one. So he'll be off the field for a moment. But again, if you're St Johnstone, you had the strike from Payton that was saved. That was a great save, a great counter-attack, and another St Johnstone mistake. And as well, the Gullen strike where he should have played to halt. That could have been 3-0 before they got their equaliser, couldn't it? So you would be kicking yourselves a bit if you were the hosts.
Yeah, certainly would have been. As you now see the ball played all the way back towards Mitchell. Mitchell in possession, 44.5 minutes on the clock. Probably expect about 4 minutes of added time, 4 or 5, because we've had a couple of goals, we've had a VAR check, we've just had that stoppage for John Jules for about 90 seconds. We now see McClear in possession, plays a couple 1-2s with Mitchell. He's centre half, goes to the right hand side for Smith. John Jules, by the way, still not back on the pitch, so Kilmarnock playing with a man down. He's still receiving a bit of treatment on the far side. McClear plays it in towards Holt takes a heavy touch but gets it back to McLeod just in time before getting intercepted. We now see Gullen finds Mitchell, wants an option to the right, finds Gullen instead. Gullen looks to turn away. Nice movement from him. McLeod lets it drag across. Only 3 minutes of added time. I'm quite surprised by that, but 3 minutes to go with St Johnstone just creeping, lurking around the final third. We now see Payton down the line for Fowler under a bit of pressure. I mean, what a ridiculous challenge that is. What a silly free kick to give away by Schulte Brown. Fowler has his back to the defender, completely on the almost the edge of the penalty area, but the corner of it, so in a wide area, going absolutely nowhere. That's such a silly free kick to give away.
It's how he points at the ball as well, and he's nowhere near the ball.
No.
He gives him a push and catches him almost on his Achilles. Nothing malicious, but he does definitely catch him. He almost goes off with his boot. John Jules is back on the field of play, but you definitely can see he's struggling, of course. You can imagine, you've got to look at, is it a possible concussion or any kind of head injury? Watching it back, it's a right elbow, shoulder going into his face, isn't it? So we've been given 3 minutes of stoppage time. We've played a minute of it, but John Jules, of course, has had to change his jersey, and he's down on his knee. He's definitely not going to see the second half. It's whether he comes, what do they do? Do they make the change now, or do they just say, right, we'll just get into half time and wait? Well, no, they will make the sub now.
Yeah, they certainly will. Looks like he's going to make way in the end. I'm not sure. It can't be a concussion thing, or they'd have brought him off. Physios are much more savvy with that these days. I'm not sure. He just didn't seem like eager to continue. It is a concussion substitution because it's a head injury, but I wouldn't say he's got concussion. Jamie Brandon's come on. Now that's a weird one because he's rocking the number 2 and he's coming on for a man from the front three, so potentially a change of system. But this free kick ready to be whipped in, that is terrible. It's completely overhit and it goes miles over the bar.
Well, he's more of a right back, isn't he? Jamie Brandon, number 2, you would suggest that, as you rightfully said anyway. So yeah, I don't know if it is a change of maybe going to a back 5, but with 3 defenders. I'm not too sure. Maybe it is just staying with a back 4, but you're going to push one of the full backs higher up. Maybe he'll play to add that bit more natural width. I don't know, on the right hand side. Maybe he plays a right midfielder in that flat 4 that they've got. Maybe Kilty will go to the left. I'm really not sure. Maybe it's also, right, I'm going to make this change now because I have to, because it's a concussion. Let's get into half time and change all them, because it's basically a free hit, isn't it? Because you've got the sub. Let's just make it, and then at half time we'll see what we want to do from there.
Yeah, you see the ball on the left hand side. It's going to be Fowler in possession. Fowler holding it up. Last chance of the half with 20 seconds remaining of it. Fowler goes all the way back towards Holt. Ball into the penalty area for Gullen's a decent one. Gullen turns away from his man onto his left boot in the area. Flashed it across the face of goal. Headed away by Schulte Brown. All the way out, back out to the left hand side. It's watched out for a throw in by Folds. Needs to take it quickly if they want one more chance. Thrown into the area. And Shibola with a risky pass in his own area, but they can come away with it. They've given it away just about and then finally cleared. And that's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for St Johnstone right before half time. And that's a silly one once again, because we're literally 10 seconds overtime. Didn't need to put that challenge in, did Smith, but he's been booked.
Yeah, it's also because he's never winning the ball. In his head he'll think, I'm going to go and win this ball. But it was really good play from Klesenko, because he's always going to get there, just gets it the ball. He knows he's going to take a whack, he knows he's going to be fouled, but he knows his defender's going to pick up a yellow card. Now he's running it in for that second half on a yellow card, and now you've got to take that into the second half.
Yeah, and it is half time now in Scotland between these two sides. Well, despite St Johnstone taking the lead and being the better side going into the break, it's St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1.
Half time at me. half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As a half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game of Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. Noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is 1 apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Pyramid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game. But Kilmarnock with a great equaliser, noted down by Lowry, finished off by skipper Kilty. As at half-time, it is one apiece. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. Half-time at Mid Park, and it is St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 1. St Johnstone, the newly promoted Scottish Championship champions, have been the better side, taking the lead in the 16th minute after a mistake in the middle from Shibol. A lovely ball cut back in from Gull and finished off well by Fowler on top for the majority of the game, but Kilmarnock with a great equaliser. And it's a warm welcome back to this Sunday afternoon's unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action from Mid Park as St Johnstone, the newly promoted St Johnstone, back into the Premiership at the first attempt to take on Kilmarnock. Currently one apiece between the two sides. Of the hosts have been the better of the two. Looking at the stats in terms of shots, possession as well, just about 60-40 in favour of the host. 9 shots to 2 in favour of St Johnstone. Only the 2 shots on target though. 1 shot on target for Kilmarnock, 1 goal. It's one apiece. Fowler's 16th minute strike gave St Johnstone rightfully the lead and the opener. Kilmarnock though, although they've been second best, they are level because it was a lovely goal, maybe falling asleep defensively. St Johnstone, you could maybe throw that at their feet, but lovely ball into the box from Ring on the right hand side, nodded down lovely by Lowry, and Kilty just finding space in at the back sticks and tapping it home for one apiece. Here come St Johnstone though, the goal scorer Fowler, well defended at the back there in the end by Jamie Brandon. He did come on at the back end of the first half, a concussion substitution for Tyrese John Jones. We'll have to wait and see how maybe tactically he does play out. In terms of, it was a 4-4-2 diamond in the first half, but he's taken a striker off and brought a right back on, so we'll see how that does work. It's myself, Lewis Rafter, I'm joined by Kieran Graham. I will bring Kieran in just a moment as his corner comes in, wow. And at the back post, less than 90 seconds into the second half, St Johnstone have reclaimed their lead. A wicked ball into the back post, and Jake Diabate with a bullet of a header. You can see what it means to the St Johnstone defender from that corner. It's a great in-swinging delivery. He's putting some really good ones on that far side. Has Gullen. That's another one. Left arm up in the air, fizzes it in, and he's just too big and too strong for his marker, Brown. And it's a bullet header, as I say, but he's only about 5 yards out from goal, so there's nothing really that Stryek can do in goal. What a start to the second half. As I say, it's myself, Lewis Rafter, joined by Kieran Graham. And Kieran, they couldn't have imagined a better start. St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 1.
Perfect start. It'd have been very easy to come out a little bit deflated after being the better side and conceding before half-time. It's such a cheap corner to give away. Brandon's almost ushering it out. Fowler gives him the slightest of nudge, a fair nudge, and it just comes off his toe to give away a very, very cheap corner. A free kick almost given to Kilmarnock. Play continues. That's a great challenge in from Fault in the end. But yeah, what a cheap corner to give away. Poor defending from Shilte Brown, who's not covered himself in glory all game, really, has he? He's had a few mistakes in him. And we now see this thrown to be given for Kilmarnock. But yeah, what a cheap goal to give away. Great header though from Diabate.
Yeah, just great position as well. He's too big, too strong for Brown, and as we say, he's not covered himself in glory as the Kilmarnock defender. But Diabate, that was the old saying of just men versus boys. Too big, too strong there was the only 24-year-old centre-back Diabate. Here come Kilmarnock, ball into the box. It's an awkward one for the goalkeeper to deal with. Oh, wow. And has that gone over the line? They run away in celebration, and Kilty with his second and Kilmarnock's second. What an opening 4 minutes to the second half this is. It was a ball into the box on the right-hand side. Took a wicked deflection, and you can definitely tell that Toby Stewart, the goalkeeper, just couldn't get the flight correct of where the ball was. Kilty just gets a touch. It loops over the goalkeeper. There's a defender on the line just trying to get there. He's watching it on the back on the replay, seeing it now.
I think it may have been Hugo.
It might have been Hugo, you're right. It's into the box. It is Hugo. You're spot on there, Kieran. Just gets in front of his defender. The goalkeeper, I think, he needs to be 5 yards further back. He needs to be closer on his line. But because it takes a deflection off of, it's a wicked cross in from Brandon, which takes a deflection. Hugo, that's just a striker's instinct, isn't it? Let me get a touch on it, let me try and get anything on it. And just as we're saying, rightfully so, that St Johnstone have responded so well to being equalised, and as you say, not let the heads drop, coming out really well Well, now we're back where we were 4.5 minutes ago. We've had 2 goals. It's 2 apiece between these two sides. And now forward comes St Johnstone. Possibly offside is Payton. Still driving into the penalty area, goes down. I thought that was just a good tackle, shoulder to shoulder from Brown. And the referee does agree. John Payton is the referee. Well, we had a great first 45. I'm not knocking the first half. But what a start to the second half we've had.
And what a game it's been. The new campaign's well and truly underway for us. And thank the Lord it's a good game. 2-2. 2 goals already in this second half. But yeah, it's one of those, the cross from Brandon, who made the mistake for the first goal in giving away a cheap corner. He'll be delighted to be involved in that goal. It takes that deflection. So the goalkeeper's come out expecting the cross to not have the deflection, which is why he's almost left in a little bit of no man's land. The deflection, credit to Hugo, because he doesn't stop, he just adjusts his run, doesn't he? He gets that looped finish. It's not an easy finish, is it, for the striker? Like I said, he's running across to the front post, can't really adjust his body to look towards the goal, he just has to flick it over the goalkeeper and hope. That's what he did. Unfortunate for the St Johnstone defender, it was Smith, the number 33, flying across on the goal line to try and save it from going in, but he couldn't get there in time. And what a start to the second half.
It's been absolutely fantastic. And now, as the ball goes out for a throw, and Diabate and Kilty there in each other's faces almost, and you can just see the intensity, the tempo's getting up, and the referee's calling them both over because you don't want to see this turn ugly. Yellow card is out, and I'm going to assume might be for both, definitely for Diabate, because he even had his nearly arms around the throat of Kilty, watching it back. Kilty and Diabate just going shoulder to shoulder, and then they're both almost trying to take each other down, both pulling each other's jersey. Diabate is about 4 or 5 inches well off than Kilty, but then Diabate, well, I said around the neck, it's almost he grabs his your collarbone is of the jersey. Kilty doesn't react because you probably would say he has every right to react. Diabate there showing maybe the frustration that, well, I've just gone and scored and then we made a defensive mistake and it's 2 apiece, who knows, but he's been yellow carded as this game is really picking up the intensity. Good tackle there in the middle by Shibola. He's definitely got a bit to prove in the second half. He had a poor first 45 minutes, but that was a good tackle. Now here come Kilmarnock. The game's a little bit more open as well than the first half. Down the left-hand side, cutting back in. Lovely back heel to the left-hand side. Ball into the box, well over hit. It'll be kept in play by Brandon just on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Strike comes in straight at the goalkeeper, right into the breadbasket. Wasn't terrible at all from Hugo, but it just tests the goalkeeper. Not does too much. He's straight at him. Oh, it's in goalkeepers drop them. Now Kilmarnock come forward once again. Ball on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Cuts inside. Strike comes in. Saved by the goalkeeper. But it's come deflected off of the midfielder Holds. And how unlucky that is for St Johnstone. But Kilmarnock have put the pressure on ever since getting that equaliser. It's a great strike, but a lovely save, I have to say, from Stewart. But then Holt, yes, in a good defensive position, but ricochets, blocks off of him into the back of the net. 53 minutes in, 8 minutes into the second half. St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 3. What a start to the second half. That's down the left-hand side once again. It's a fake shot, if you will, and it's a great save. It's off the head of Holt, actually. I thought it was off his stomach at first, but just cuts inside there. Goes to Kilmarnock midfielder, and it's a great save, but there's nothing Holt can do.
What on earth is going on? we've had 3 goals in 8 minutes so far, and it's not actually in 8 minutes, is it? Because you think about the stoppages after every goal as well. I mean, Lewis has barely had time to just think and breathe after this second half, how it started. But yeah, who would have thought around the half-hour mark that we'd be talking about Kilmarnock winning the game 3-2 in the 53rd minute? I mean, what an insane start to this second half. I mean, and now Shibola's giving it away. Surely we don't get more in quick succession. That's better defending from Shilte Brown. But yeah, really unfortunate for the goalkeeper. Smith just absolutely hammered him after it. But maybe it was a very tame effort. Maybe he didn't have to go to it so dramatically to save it. But I mean, that is just unfortunate, isn't it? He saved it off the head of his midfielder and it's gone into the back of the net. But hey, credit to Kilmarnock. They've almost used their experience of being in the top flight that little bit more a little bit longer, and they've turned the game on its head.
Well, at the moment, round 1, but this could be one of the best games of the season.
Yeah.
You'd have to say it's shaping up that way. And forward to come with Ring again to Kilmarnock. Great play through the legs of the defender. He's still going, well ushered away there by McAleer and cleared away by Diabate. Kieran's right, I haven't been able to even bring you the 11s. There's been no changes, of course, to the first half 11s. Of course, Brandon on for John Jules, but we're approaching 10 minutes into the second half, 55 minutes on the clock. What a second half it's been so far. And you feel as well, because I'm not going to sit here now and say, Kilmarnock are going to sit back and defend for half an hour. I'm not saying that. But usually, if the away side's the one who's winning, well, the home side are the ones who are going to bomb forward a little bit more. But it was one apiece 10 minutes ago, and as you rightfully said, 3 goals in. It's 10 minutes on the clock, but as you rightfully said, more like maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes of game time because of the stoppages and pauses in play we've had. Long ball forward, looking for Hugo. Too much on it. Nice interception by Diabate. Goes back to his goalkeeper. Stewart was under pressure there from Hugo. He just has to punt it long to the right hand side. And too much on it. And a throw in. Just about halfway into their own half of Kilmarnock on the left hand side. And well, I don't know what Neil McCann said at half time, but he'll have been frustrated, angry, and disappointed 2 minutes into the second half. Whereas 10 minutes into the second half, he'll be over the moon because he's had a 3-2 up. Long ball forward, nearly Hugo getting on the end of it. So although they did concede 2 minutes in and went 2-1 down, whatever he said has definitely worked at half time for Neil McCann, as Mitchell just has the ball, looks to go long for the run of Payton. Brown nods it away, only his father has Gullen, and Shibola, well, whether he's had a word with himself, someone's had a word with him, he's definitely playing much better in this second half, and he picks the ball up and he sprays a lovely ball to Brandon on the right hand side, plays it centrally to Kilty. Back into the middle for Lowry. He's got a bit of space. Looks to play it back to Kilty. Well intercepted there. Now they've thrown a few bodies forward in search of that 4th goal to get a 2-goal buffer. So there's space for Payton to drive forward on the left-hand side. Pokes it forward to Fowler. Lovely first few touches. He needs some support though from the blue jerseys. Payton into Gullen. Looks to spray a ball to the right-hand side. Smith's going to get there. He doesn't get there, and I'm not going to say he would get there, because I do think it was a little bit overhit from Gullen. But if he would have at least got the jets on and sprinted, he could have nearly got it, maybe.
Yeah, tired legs because of how intense the second half has been already. So I expect this game to get very open around the 70th minute or so, until we maybe start to see substitutes to maybe just close this game up a little bit once again. I guess for St Johnstone, they want it to become open so they can create more chances to try and get back in it. But we'd probably still say St Johnstone being the better side in this one. I mean, Kilmarnock, they've just been clinical where they've needed to be. And then, of course, a little bit of fortune, which you always need in this sport, as well, to sometimes grind you through games where you don't deserve to get the points. But those are the ones that really feel special, when you don't deserve anything, but you're going to leave with potentially maximum points as well. But yeah, St Johnstone on the attack now down the right hand side.
Ball over the top, too much on it, looking for the run of the fullback Smith, but well held there by Stryjek to come out. And I'm not going to sit here and say, because I think John Jules was probably the brightest spark whilst he was on the field, possibly, along with Kilty in that first half before he was taken off. But do you think, if anything, Brandon coming on as a fullback, that's pushed Ring to be a right midfielder? And you've got Klesenko off the left. You've got the two central midfielders of Lowry and Shibala. Kilty's being put just in behind Hugo. It's actually more of a team. It looks more of a formation, looks more of a tactic, as there is going to be a change here. And it will be Shibola coming off. Well, he's had a great 13 minutes. I'm not saying he had a great first 45, but he's going to come off the field of play. There's going to be two substitutions, so just waiting on seeing who's coming on for Shibola and also who is coming off. So just waiting for full confirmation of the boards going up. I do want to say Klesenko is the other substitution. It is. So Klesenko and Shibola are off. Rice and Matherin are on in their place. So maybe, I think probably what you just said a minute ago is right, that what Kilmarnock want to do is while they're up, they don't want the legs to get tired and stretched. They want to almost, whilst we're on top, whilst we're winning 3-2, get the fresh legs on now, maybe get that 2-goal buffer and then try and control the game.
Yeah, exactly. And making that change, seeing Rice already in possession, highly rated young midfielder, of course, as we see him play his first ball to the right hand side. Interesting, Shabola's come off just as he started to look decent in this game. He had a bit of a torrid first half, didn't he? But certainly fixed things up in the second. But here come Kilmarnock looking to double their lead.
Down the right hand side with Brandon. This is a lovely ball into the box. Header is saved and it's out for a corner. What a ball that is. I mean, Brandon says a right back probably has been one of the. I know he hasn't scored, but he's been involved, and he was even at fault for that corner. We're giving away the corner for St Johnstone second. What a ball into the box that was. He's got a wicked delivery on him on that right hand side. It's a great header from Kilty. I think that's one of them right. That's probably coming off the inside of the post and into the back of the net. Stretching was Stewart. Still a corner coming up. Ball into the box, cleared away by Mitchell to the edge of the area. Fowler then tries to knock it on to keep the counter on for St Johnstone. But Stewart, although you might say he's at fault for the second for Hugel's goal because he was out of position, well, he saved them there. Ring down the right hand side. Boom, good tackle from Matty Folds, but Ring still comes away with it. Floats it out of play for a goal kick. An hour into this game, 15 minutes of the second half. Some fantastic football has been played in these first 15 minutes as now St Johnstone reaction to going down, reaction to the double substitution for Kilmarnock. I am not exactly sure, but they're going to make a double substitution as well. Sorry, definitely one. I think it might even be a double, I should say. It will be the skipper Jason Holt, who again had a great first 45 minutes. It's going to be a double sub, and if anything, again, because the game's now getting stretched, he's 33 years of age, he's a great player, but this is where you want legs, I think, in the game. Holt and Payton are off for Chalmers and Fotheringham. That's a double change as well for the host. So whether that's a reaction to going down, whether that's a reaction to the double substitution, it's definitely one they've had to make. And I think you're right. I think the longer this game went without subs, still going to be a cracker of a game, but you'll see tired legs, you'll see mistakes. This is both bosses just almost getting subs and fresh legs on to keep the pace high.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's Holt that's made weight. I thought he really controlled the tempo in the first half for St Johnstone. Yes, they've lost that in this second half, so maybe that's why he does come off. But Fotheringham and Chalmers really do have to make their impact in this one to just try and regain a grip of this game. I mean, the momentum swings in this have been so apparent, so clear in this game. It's felt like almost a first game of the season, hasn't it? Where you see plenty of goals, you see plenty of mistakes, gaps left. It's been perfect for the neutral. Been a really good watch as Folds plays a good ball into Fowler.
Into the feet of the left-hand sided forward. Still has the ball, tries to stand his defender up to the left-hand side. Still driving forward. This is great play. Heavy touch there, and it will be poked out of play, and it will be a goal kick. Good attack that was on there, but unfortunately just couldn't get on the end of it. Lovely play by Fowler, and the sub did really well to get past his man and force something. But at the same time, you probably would have to say that it's good defending by Brandon in terms of he made him take that heavy touch for Fotheringham. I was about to put him down as number 21, but he's wearing 18 on the back of his jersey. But both managers have made those changes. Another mistake at the back for Kilmarnock. St Johnstone have the ball to the right hand side. Opportunity, strike comes in. It's a little bit tame though, it has to be said, from Chalmers. And it's an easy one, saved straight at the goalkeeper. But once again, just as soon as you think that a side have found a bit of comfortability and the mistakes are going to be the minimum, a mistake is given away.
I wondered whether the pass from Fowler was too weak when he initially played it, but it turned into a perfect ball, didn't it? Just perfect for Chalmers to run onto it, really take his time. As we now see Fotheringham coming forward, the two substitutes for St Johnstone, looking for instant impact in this one. That's what they're bringing. They're back in possession now.
It seems, if anything, I want to say that because, of course, Holt's gone off, it's more that Stanton has gone a little bit deeper to join Reese and McAleer in the middle, forward into Fowler, dinked back, will he get on the end of it? It's a little bit acute, he's still in the penalty area though, does well to hold it up, pokes it back into the penalty area. Gullen, back to the edge, strike comes in, blocked away. Still though the opportunity for St Johnstone. Fold to the edge of the area, strike comes in, it's blocked away. Looked like it was going wide from Gullen, looks like he just hit it a little bit too much, got over it, was going to drag it wide and out for a goal kick. That was, you're as a defender, you're not too sure, you just got to get your body in the way and hope for the best. But you can quite clearly see in the attacking areas, because they are fresh legs and they have gone a bit more attacking obviously with those subs, St Johnstone definitely getting the better of it. But on the opposite end, mean there's space here for Kilmarnock to come forward. Ball poked forward, great interception by Mitchell. As you said, Kieran, I hope when I pass over to you it keeps up like this, because you'll be in for a fantastic second half of the second half. And now St Johnstone, they're fighting back and they're coming forward. Folds centrally into Fotheringham, back to Folds. He's got a good delivery on him most of the time. Ball does come in, he does take a deflection that time, and into the hands of Stryjek, who is a very similar goalkeeper to you. He does come out and he's alert, but hasn't had to do as much, you would probably say, as the Kilmarnock number 1. Puts it right up into the air. That's one that's going to come right down from the skies. Diabate does well, though, to just head it on into Chalmers. He's battling away in the middle, does really well, does so, but to come away with the ball. Gullen centrally to McClear, who's almost, if anything, he's that defensive midfielder. He's an out-and-out midfielder, and he is more partnered by Gullen, but the rest of them are given a bit more freedom, you'd have to say, to go forward and support. McAleer, he will sit there. He's one who, I won't go forward, you guys go forward, I'll almost mop up in behind you. 65 minutes into this contest, long ball from right to left from Mitchell, looking for Fold. Too much on that one. Now the play goes for a throw in. 65 minutes in, St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 3. Another substitution, so they're coming thick and fast here. Are the substitutions. Just waiting to see, is it Ring who's coming off? Yes, it will. He's been very good on that right hand side since that little bit of a change with Brandon coming in almost behind him, but he will be coming off, and number 5 Mark O'Hara will be coming on to the field of play. But 65 minutes in, St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 3. Unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary. And you just feel now that there's going to come a point, isn't there, where I'm not saying Kilmarnock shut up shop and defend, but they will now be thinking, right, we've got the lead, we don't want to make any more mistakes.
Yeah, seems more physical and defensive, doesn't he? In that sense, does Mark O'Hara, so he'll be wanting to make his impact in that sense, but it looks like he's just gone straight towards the right-hand side, so he's not slotted in to defence. We now see Gullen in possession. St Johnstone have to start to turn this into creating chances one more, but that ball ricochets into the hands of Stryjek.
Goalkeeper will have the ball, and again, you're probably thinking that he might just think, right, he does, rolls it out, just calms it down, slows it down as well a little bit. As soon as I say that, though, they do go for the long ball. Diabate nods it down to Folds. It's his head up and plays it short into McAleer. He's got Stanton there as an option. Back to Folds, and now I do think Kilmarnock are just sitting there. Maybe just give it 5 or 10 minutes just to catch your breath, because both it's been quite a breathless 15 minutes coming into just over 20 minutes play. Diabate tries to drive forward. He did that well in the first half, and he's got a bit of space to fly forward. Gullen now with the armband on as well after Holt left the field. Dinks one over to Folds. Takes a fair few touches. Thought he might whip one into the box early there. McAleer, Fotheringham, battling away with Brandon. Pokes it back to Diabate, and Kilmarnock are really deep in their own half. And Mitchell, heavy touch, and he's pressed down by Hugel. Chalmers into Smith on his right hand side, looks for a 1-2. Good idea, but the path was poor, and Matherin, who's had nothing to do but defend, comes away with the ball. Chalmers still pressing him down, does well to come away with the ball. Back to Smith, and Gullen's picked it up. No one in the penalty area for a cross, but still come forward. Fowler, 1-2, Fotheringham. He's looking for options, saying this is where the ball's going to go. Gullen floats one into the back six, Folds there, nods it back down. It's kept alive, but there's no one really there to take advantage of it. Kilmarnock want to clear their lines with Brandon. It's scrappy as all, and they've won a free kick of St Johnstone. McAleer maybe just tripped up there, but McAleer, he did really well, I think, to try and keep that alive. That's a good ball from Gullen to the back six. Folds does well. He nods it back. If someone's running in onto that, it's a lovely header, cushion header for someone. He's just, unfortunately, was just behind everyone. But St Johnstone still keeps the attack alive with a dangerous set piece.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. So the header across the face of goal again from Folds was going to fall to Fotheringham. And there was a St Johnstone man who just got a touch on it before, which took it away from him, took the sting out of it. And I think that really just almost ruined that opportunity for St Johnstone. McAleer, that's his final involvement in the game, as there's another change coming up. He's going to make way for Louis Lloyd, the Welsh number 17, so he's onto the field of play to try and help his side get back into this one. But a free kick opportunity coming up now. It's going to be Gullen, the man with it.
Opportunity to swing one, it's a decent delivery. Into the box it goes! And into the back of the net to boot as well. A third goal, 2 coming from set pieces as well. It's a lovely header at the back sticks. Diabate, I thought he was the one who was going to get on the end of it.
I think he's the man who just came on.
It is. It's his first touch for Louis Lloyd, and it's his header. He just longs it in the back of the net. It was just begging for someone just to get a touch. The ball is lovely.
Maybe an own goal.
It might be. We'll have to wait and see. It's lovely that everyone's on side. It might come off his shoulder, might come off one of the defenders, as Kieran rightfully said. We'll see a better angle here. Lloyd's the man on it. It might go all the way through. It looks like it might take a bobble. This might be a better angle as well. He definitely comes off the boot of Larson, doesn't he, I think, because he's trying to stretch to get it. I think that's how it does come off last. But the delivery was superb. Lloyd, whether it'll go down as his goal or not, probably won't. But what an impact to come on as a sub. There is a pause in play, as we're not quite sure, but there is a VAR check for the goal, and whether it will go down as Lloyd's goal or not, as I say, well, what an impact to come on and ensure that your side have got a quick fire equaliser. But for the moment, it's St Johnstone 3, Kilmarnock 3. 70 minutes on the clock. We're halfway through this second half of unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action between these two sides. Looking for offside, it's definitely on. It is Lloyd, everyone's onside. There's no one offside in a blue St Johnstone jersey this afternoon. But as I say, at the moment, it is a 6-goal thriller between the two sides from McDiarmid Park. Referee this afternoon, John Beaton, just waiting for confirmation. We've only seen the replays. We haven't seen anything that VAR are looking at. Again, if it's offside, if there's a foul, that's different, but a handball possibly. We're watching it back now. Again, we're not seeing what VAR. There's Diabate goes up. Lloyd, maybe off his right elbow, but it's not intentional. He is just going forward. I'm not sure. We're still waiting for what it would be. But as I say, for the moment, 6 goals between the two sides this Sunday afternoon. St Johnstone 3, Kilmarnock 3. I'll pass you over to Kieran to take us through to full time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lewis. And the goal does stand, but I've seen the replay 10 times and I still couldn't tell you whose goal it is. To me, it looks like it comes off Larson's knee. Lloyd goes down and they're checking if it came off his elbow or such, but I think it may be Larson's knee just behind him. The cameras keep lingering on Lloyd. I tell you what, if he gets the goal, he scored within 20 seconds of coming onto the field of play. I don't think there's a definition of a better super sub. Even Edin Dzeko would have been proud from his time at Manchester City. But wow, what a super sub that is. I'm not sure if he's being credited with it just yet. I think there's still maybe decided he has been credited with the goal for the time being, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty of checks through it. But like I said, 20 seconds, what an impact. 72 minutes on the clock. St Johnstone 3, Kilmarnock 3. What a game. The season's well and truly underway.
Yeah, if you had overs on the goals, you'd be over the moon, wouldn't you? Right now. And you said about pre-season. Well, in pre-season, you do get a lot of goals, don't you? Because you're still not all there fitness-wise. But both these sides have shown a lot of quality. There's been a bit of mistakes, but look, even if a side makes a mistake, you still have to have that attacking forward quality to finish it off, for example. So I know the goal was very scrappy, and as you said, whether Lloyd will be credited with it, I agree with you. I think it comes off the left knee, the ankle of Larson. He's outstretched and he's not really looking at the ball. He's just he's more looking at his keeper and trying to defend. But the ball was beautiful. The ball is asking for a touch. That's all it needs, whether it's a teammate or an opposition number. That's all you're caring about from Gullen's point of view. He puts it into a great area. And now you've got those substitutes on. Well, who could now maybe go and find the winner? Or will both sides not sit back, but in the maybe last 5 minutes go, whoa, we've put on a show this afternoon, but now neither of us want to lose.
Yeah, exactly that. And we now see St Johnstone in possession. Man, we get a winner in this game as well. Fotheringham driving forward, decent ball in behind, looking towards the number 14, flashes it across the face of goal. Strijic gets a touch and just about recovers it as well. It looked like that touch could have fallen straight into the path of potentially the opposition forward, but he keeps the ball in hand, just about recovers it himself. It was a nice ball in from Matty Folds on the left-hand side. We now see Strijic back in possession under a bit of pressure from the substitute and goal scorer. Louis Lloyd scored within 20 seconds of coming on. What an impact from the midfielder. And you can tell he's got the feel for it because he won't stop pressing. He's just charging around and he's done exactly everything the manager could have wanted and more in that sense. It'll be interesting to see who really takes the game for the remainder of this one. Mistake at the back from Schulte Brown, and then he's been absolutely blitzed by Fotheringham. Great touch from the substitute. He's still driving into the penalty area. The number 18 looks for a ball across the face of goal and well cleared away in the end. But Schulte Brown, he's someone who I think has been consistently bad in this game. Shibola kind of recovered it before getting subbed off, but he's been very poor in this one. Come to Lewis in a moment. We see now Stanton on the attack, looks for a deep ball into the penalty area, well deflected away by O'Hara, and out for a throw-in.
Yeah, it's been a poor showing so far for Brown, and the only thing I would say to it is because of that St Johnstone front five now, you might as well call it, there is a lot of fluidity of. Really, usually, of course, you would say, right, this is the man who I'm marking. You've got Brown's marked everyone, hasn't he? He's marked Stanton, he's marked Lloyton's coming on, he's marked Fowler for a lot of the time. Payton, oh, lovely first touch there. Here comes St Johnstone.
Yeah, and here they come, and he's almost just got a little bit stuck with the ball under his feet. He's done brilliant, and then he looked for the ball in behind. Did Chalmers couldn't find the intended target, completely overhit. And I think that's just maybe the pressure. We said it'd get open around the 70th minute because it's the first game of the season, because the fitness levels won't completely be there. Substitutes as well helping that, but what a great watch.
Again, I think there's this thing that we all know, that if we're being bluntly honest, you see it in the Championship, don't you? You see in League One, you see that these players are so, the quality is there. It's just there's always going to be something missing, isn't there? Maybe it's the fitness at the moment in the sides, isn't it, that are missing? Maybe it's the decision making, and that's right there for Chalmers, because he brings it out of the sky on his left boot, brings it down superbly. One of the best first touches I've seen in quite a while. And then he can't get the ball off his feet, and then he frantically plays it forward. Whereas a player maybe of a bit better quality would have just taken a few more touches and played the ball. So that's the difference. But that just shows that the quality that there is on display this afternoon. And it's been a great watch, as you say. And I think sometimes, as you say on paper, I think Hibernian versus Motherwell has that more quality, at least on paper, between the two sides. But they've got a lot to live up to after watching this one this afternoon.
Yeah, Hibernian and Motherwell coming off the back of some midweek European games as well over 2 legs, so they might be a little bit sharper later with more quality insides, but sometimes that doesn't always mean plenty of goals. Ball whipped in towards the front post. Stewart had to get a touch to it because he wasn't too sure where it was going, and he's had to tip it behind for a corner. It was a nice play from Lowry, and he's also improved this second half. I thought he was very tame, very passive in the first, but he's certainly been more attacking minded in this second half, which has helped Kilmarnock get into this game. 76.5 minutes on the clock. It remains 3-3 in this one. Kilty, the man over this one, who levelled things up to make it 1-1 earlier. Ball in towards Matherin, who drives into the penalty area. Not great touches from him, and he runs out of play. He
does. Again, I think that's someone who's a substitution who's come on, and unfortunately, because every other sub has been really involved, he hasn't got going, has he? Definitely in an attacking area defensively. He hasn't put a foot wrong so far since they're coming on, so he hasn't been able to get on the ball and grow into the game, whereas every other player who's come on has definitely been given that opportunity. Of course, as well, maybe for St Johnstone in the back of their minds, the last 2 games, Kilmarnock have come away with all 3 points, so they'll want to prove at a point more. They're looking at this match so far. Gullen, he's been that star man, hasn't he? That attacking midfielder, 4-2-3 on number 10. He's been all about it. He's been absolutely brilliant. So he's got maybe one more piece of magic up his sleeve. You feel that out of the 2 sides, the opening day, Kilmarnock, the away side, don't lose. I know it's a newly promoted side. St Johnstone, I feel, with their fans, they're the ones who might push on a little bit more for all 3 points.
Yeah, well, I've just been, for the time being, justified that I wasn't going insane, because the goal's been taken away from Lloyd and given to Jean Larson as an own goal, which is what I thought. I thought it came off his knee. They're probably going to keep twisting and turning. How many times do we see that when he's so close? They just don't know who to give it to. But yeah, as it stands, the own goal goes the way of the Estonian fullback. There's a mistake in the back from Kilmarnock. They get away with it, and it's because of Lowry just steaming in ahead of Fowler to win that one back. It wasn't a great ball from the goalkeeper, but here comes St Johnstone on the attack again. It's Gullen, goes to the left-hand side for Fotheringham, who I think's had a decent impact in this one on the left-hand side. Finds Gullen, opens it up, whips in towards the front post. There's Fowler looking for that glance little touch at the front post. He just almost misses it, or it skims off the top of his head and trickles into the hands of the goalkeeper, but decent opportunity.
Once again, I think it's a lovely ball in from Gullen as well. And as you're right to say, Fowler just can't time the header kind of to the cross coming in. I think he'd have even maybe gone for the front post. I know the goalkeeper says you'd never be beaten at your front post, but with how it was put in, I don't think the goalkeeper would have time to react if he nods that to the front post. But that's another near chance. Kilmarnock looking to come forward, well defended by Smith at the back. But as you said, he's still quite open, isn't he, between the two sides? And I would say there's definitely a 7th goal coming, but who that is to, I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly that. And that is the definition of a wait and see. There's Rice stepping in, not great from him. Gives it away towards Gullen, looks for a ball in behind, deflected off the left back. Johnning Larson. It's all the way back towards Shield Brown. Doesn't feel like we've had a quiet stage of this game, does it?
No,
Which has been perfect for myself and you, Lewis, in this one. Just always been something to talk about for 80 minutes of this one. And fingers crossed we get a real blockbuster end to this one for the final 10. As you see Kilty, long ball forwards. Diabate heads it down, just about finds Folds. It's now Fotheringham. Good challenge in from Brandon. He's then being dragged back. I'll tell you what, that could have been a free kick for Kilmarnock, but they get away with it. We're going to see another replay of the goal now, because I think maybe the provider just got word of it, and that is the best angle we've seen so far. As we now see St Johnstone on the attack. We'll come back to that in a moment. Fotheringham with a strike, and we may have found a winner, and it's Fotheringham with the effort into the near post. I was just praising his impact in this one about a few minutes ago. As they were showing us the replay, St Johnstone were on the attack down the left-hand side as it cut back into the space for Fotheringham, and he finds the directed finish into the bottom corner. It is St Johnstone 4, Kilmarnock 3, and they may have found the winner.
7 goals on opening day. Well, what a game we've been treated to. We're watching it back fully now, because as Kieran said, we were watching a replay, weren't we? Cut back to live pictures. Fowler was putting the ball into the box for Fotheringham at force. I thought he messed it up a little bit by taking that touch. I thought he should have taken it first time, because he gets it caught under his feet. Fowler scored the first goal. Well, he set one up as well, but then it's that other touch, and he lets it run a little bit on his second touch, opens it up, and there is nothing, unless it hits Stryjek, there is nothing the goalkeeper can do, because it is so close to the goal. It's almost on the 6-yard line, realistically, and it's a great goal from the 23-year-old. As you said, rightfully so. He's been great. The substitutions have been fantastic from both managers, I'd have to say. But Simo Valakari, definitely, you'd have to say that, give him so much credit. Whether it goes down as Lloyd's goal or not, it shouldn't. It should be Larson's own goal. But he was the one in the position. He was the one who put pressure on, if you will. That got you third. Fotheringham a substitution, got you a fourth as well. So credit to the managers for making substitutions at the right time. And that just shows that we spoke about depth earlier, and that's where sometimes teams who come up can be caught out with depth. I know it's opening weekend and you're at home and momentum, as we spoke about, on all this and that. But if you can make 4 or 5 substitutions and bring on players that help your team, well, maybe that shows that St Johnstone can rival that top 6 area of the league. Yeah,
potentially it could. Fowler's been great leading the line, hasn't he? And in that sense, because he keeps drifting to the left, to the right, it's been brilliant. Fotheringham's been beaten by Brandon. Then there's a flailing arm, and it's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for Brandon. That just seems so harsh against some of the cards from the referee. I mean, he's beaten his man and had to just move his arm across him, and he's been booked for it. I'm not too sure I agree with that. I'm going to see it back again. He barely catches the face with his finger. I don't know what else he's meant to do with his arm there, but a yellow card for Jamie Brandon, the substitute. He's made a decent impact, but he did, of course, make the mistake for the opening goal of the half. And there's a bit of a mark on the face of Fotheringham, who's just scored the all-important goal. But what a game it's been.
It's absolutely fantastic. 7 goals, 7 heaven, as they would usually say, the cliche term. Just going back to that foul, as well, just a stop in play, as Fotheringham might need a bit of attention. It is just unlucky. I don't think it's a yellow card. I can see why it's a foul, because you have caught him in the face. It is unintentional, but it is something that has caused a bit of discomfort to Fotheringham, and the arm was a little bit out, but it was just, as you say, that, just trying to push your defender off, if you will. If it's a little bit further down, it's in the chest area, isn't it, pushing him away. It's a foul. Yellow card's really harsh, though, you'd have to say. As well with Brandon as well, he put that great ball in for Kilty, didn't he, that forced that great save out of Stewart. So that's another great substitution. Credit to Neil McCann, who had to make that substitution, of course, kind of at the drop of the hat, because it was John Jules who went off with a concussion, so you had to make that change and just adapt, and that's exactly what he did. There is going to be another substitution. It will be Hugel going off. Apologies, no, it's going to be the other 9. I saw a 9 go up. It'll be Fowler going off for St Johnstone, and if I'm right, that might be their last, at least, substitution to make in terms of blocks of changes you can make. So Fowler is the man coming off the field of play. It's waiting for full confirmation of who's going off, along as Gullen as well. So Baird and Tate are coming on for Fowler and Gullen, and again, that's just more fresh legs.
Yeah, more fresh legs entering the field of play now, trying to see what they can bring to this game. As you now see the ball on the left-hand side. Ball towards Larson, who does have an own goal to his name. 2 own goals in this. It's just had a bit of everything, hasn't it? Maybe barring a red card, which you never know, we could see. As you see Rice with the ball down the left-hand side. Good idea. Will it find his man? No, it won't. It's going to trickle behind for a goal kick. Stewart to get us back underway, but of course he's going to take his time. 84.5 minutes on the clock. Well, Lewis has to get this into 30 seconds at one point after this game, which will be pretty interesting. As we see Kilty, he's going to make way well. He's probably been the standout for me for Kilmarnock today, and he's come on for Ewan Owen, the Welsh number 27. But Greg Kilty, the skipper, as much as they're losing this game, can maybe walk off that pitch with his head held high.
100%. He's one of the players, isn't he, that I think you're right with that. He can say, well, I gave it my all, I got a goal, I was a menace the entire game, basically, wasn't I? You would say, I know Hugel got a goal. Of course, there was the own goal for Holtz for their 3rd goal, when it was 3-2. Kilty got the first goal, I know Hugel got the second. But Hugel's was just that. Apart from that, Hugel's not had a great game. No offence to the forward. You're a striker, aren't you? You feed off what you've got. That is basically all he's been given for most of this game. Played a great ball for John Jules when he unfortunately got injured. But apart from that, he's struggled in the game as Hugel. Whereas Kilty, he's been involved, put balls into the box, he's created chances. The skipper, it is cliche, but a skipper's performance from Kilty in this game.
Yeah, certainly. As we now see Brandon on the right-hand side, looks to get the better of Fotheringham, who's now got a bandage around his head. Brandon plays it all the way back towards Rice. He's under a bit of pressure, switches plates, a blind pass completely. Not really knowing what he wanted to do with that one. It was intercepted, but they've won a throw-in, luckily enough for them. As we now see Lowry goes into the middle for Rice. He's going to give it back to Lowry again, under a bit of pressure from the number 11, Stanton. Plays a nice one too with Matherin. Lowry picks it back up once more. He's going to switch a diagonal to the right-hand side for Brandon. Not a great touch from him. The man who did just get a yellow card, but he's up against the man that he did foul for that challenge. His ball whips into the back post. Well, his deliveries have been good since coming on, but that one left to be desired a little bit as it goes all the way out for a goal kick right next to the corner flag.
Yeah, that shows that, let's be quite fair, this is no offence to... That's the tempo of the game. I just think that even though he hasn't played a full 90, that just shows just how intense this game has been. It's some mistakes as well, hasn't it? That we spoke about Shibola's mistake for St Johnstone's opener. I don't think he makes that mistake in 2 weeks' time when he's a bit more crisper, a bit more sharper. And same with that there from Brandon. I don't think that's a not mistake, but again the fatigue, isn't it? Because the legs right now, that as he always says, that bit of lactic acid you just build up in the legs. Yeah. We've all been there. Whatever fitness you are, you're playing a bit of sport, you're playing a bit of football. You feel it 2 minutes in, you feel it 20 minutes in. We're not all athletes who play in the top flight in Scotland. You do feel it, and you go, oh my legs feel heavy. Yeah. I can barely walk. I'm not getting a jog on. I'm going to sit back, because if I go forward, I've got to get back, and I'm not getting back, because we've all been there in any sport, and that's how it's been this afternoon for a lot of them. But Kilmarnock aren't done here. They come on a counter-attack.
Yes, you now see the ball on the left-hand side. It's going to be with Lowry. Opens it up, finds Rice. Turns it onto his left boot, looks to dink it in behind towards Matherin, who gets there, plays a great ball across the face of goal. That was just begging for someone to tap it home. Nobody in there. What an opportunity. What a great ball from Rice. And in the end, it goes all the way behind and out for a goal kick, but what a chance.
That would have been a lovely goal because Tuesday's 2 lovely passes, isn't it? Rice, a great run from Matherin. Rice just dinks it over. He puts it on a plate for Matherin to put it across the face of goal. If you're Matherin and Rice, you'll be looking at your teammates going, why is no one steaming into the 6-yard box there? Because you've got an absolute tap-in. Rice has been a little bit quiet since he's come on, but that's the quality that you said when he came on, that that a player like him's got on his locker, because that's all it takes is, he hasn't had a great game, but if you're as a substitute come on and you get the pre-assist or the second assist, as people like to say, that would have been a great goal for the visitors there. And what you have to say is, unfortunately for Kilmarnock, you feel if it stays 4-3, well, scores change. If St Johnstone come with 3 points, you do feel for Kilmarnock a little bit, because they've made this game as well, haven't they? So
yeah.
you feel that whoever comes away with nothing out of this game is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly that. It'd be very unfortunate, as we now see Smith with a ball into the middle of the pack for Chalmers to bring it forward. He's got space in the middle, if he can find it. Recycles it to the left-hand side. Well, St Johnstone have the lead. They don't need to open themselves up too much in this one. And they're just going to, try and protect it. But it's a long ball from Diabate. That's a good one up towards Lloyd. And it's great hold of play from him. He finds Chalmers on the edge of the box. Thought about the strike. Didn't go for goal. In the end, he tries the pass. And what a roulette that is. Lovely turn from the substitute. Well, the subs in this game have certainly made their mark, haven't they? Especially for St Johnstone. They've made a great impact.
They have. And the goal scorer, of course, in Fotheringham, you've already applauded him, and you're spot on with that. But Chalmers has been great since coming on. Lloyd hasn't maybe made the impact, but of course he was involved in the goal, so you can't take anything away from him in that aspect. And as you said, 20 seconds it was since he came on the field of play, so that is instant impact to a T. We have played 90 minutes, so 6 minutes of stoppage time. Kilmarnock, you do have to go a little bit gung-ho now, don't you, to try and get back into it. I don't think St Johnstone are going to hold on and defend, because I think they understand our best way to score goals. If we're being quite honest, our best way to win games is by being a little bit open. So 7 goals. We might even see an 8th.
Yeah, we might see an 8th. Certainly enough time. In almost 6 minutes, we saw 3 goals at the start of this half. So there's definitely a chance for a lot more drama, as we now see Rice brings it down. He's got Matherin to the left. Using pretty good as Rice since coming on. Matherin looking to beat his man. Good defending from Chalmers. He still gets there though. Does Matherin. Lays it off for Lowry, who's on the left hand side. Scoops it into the area. Well headed away by Diabate. There's been no focal point since bringing off Hugel. It's felt in this game. Forward ball isn't a great one. Stewart gets there. He's been completely booted by the Kilmarnock man. It's Lowry who brings his man down. Don't believe there's going to be a card brandished, which just once again makes me a bit more confused as to why John Jules got booked at the start of this one. But good goalkeeping.
It is good goalkeeping, and he's done that all afternoon, hasn't he? He's taken a few whacks. He's come out base.
He's been in the wars.
Yeah, spot on. There, what John Jules twice. He did it a bit earlier as well, where he came away with the ball, and he did it right there and then. And I think if you're a defender, you want that from your keeper. You want that confidence, don't you? I always remember, I think it was Gary Pallister, Manchester United. I always used to say, well, if I've got Peter Schmeichel behind me, I know that he's going to come out and he might take me out, but I know he's going to come away with the ball, so I don't mind about it. So if you are St Johnstone, if I'm sat there as Mitchell or Diabate, I am so confident in my goalkeeper that he's almost going to go, right lads, I'll take care of this. I might come out and take you out, but I will get the ball with it. He's had a really good. He's been quite unlucky to concede 3 goals, if we're being honest.
Yeah, pretty unlucky. I wouldn't say they're necessarily his fault in this one, as we see Rice clear his lines. Well, 6 minutes of added time, like I said. We've played 2 minutes of it, so only 4 minutes remaining in this one. We see him jump up for the header. It's going to be cleared away, and a decent clearance at that, but it's only as far as Chalmers. Just doesn't feel like Kilmarnock can get a grip of this game to try and find a level, and that's a lovely touch down the right hand side as well from Smith, who's trying to hold it near the corner flag, plays it off Matherin, and that is great play from him to win a corner.
I think he's so many. I can imagine Valakari, the St Johnstone boss, right there. So this is looking past his man, thinking, don't put that ball in the box.
Yeah.
Keep it, please, because if that's the only time of the game, you put the ball into the box, don't you? Because he does so well. And then he did that cutback. I can imagine a bit of a fist pump from the St Johnstone boss of, yes, that's what I wanted you to do. Then, as you say, flicks it off. And it's even a corner as well. I thought it was a throw-in right in the edge. They've done well. Just need to almost keep 3 or 4 bodies over there, and they've won another throw-in. This is that professional performance. As a boss, you want to see your players see out.
Yeah, exactly that. And what a start to the season it's been for St Johnstone, who I think would be deserved winners, wouldn't they? They were the miles better side in the first half, probably being the better side the second half as well, just about. And we see Chalmers down the right-hand side trying to win a set piece again. This time he can't, and Kilmarnock can come forwards with it. It's Rice, looks for a long ball that's taken a deflection. O'Hara's been clattered, but clattered fairly in the middle of the park. Now it's Rice, flicks it on, but once again gives it away, and it's booted away by St Johnstone. It's on the right-hand side now with Kilmarnock. Brandon goes all the way back towards Strijic. He plays it in the middle, puts Rice under a bit of pressure. What a turn that was, though, from Rice. Completely calm with it. Finds the pass for O'Hara. He takes a touch, plays it to the left-hand side. Good ball. Not many chances to be left for Kilmarnock, but here they come. It's Larson on the left-hand side up against Smith. 1v1. He's into the penalty area. Larson still going onto his right boot. Cuts inside. Lays it off for Rice, who goes for goal. Bobbles right in front of him, and he puts it miles over the bar. Decent opportunity.
Oh, as you say, it's that bobble, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if not, he's probably, I'm not saying he still might put it in the top corner, I'm not going to say that, but it's just the bobble, and that if he's even a yard behind or a yard in front, he's hitting it so much cleaner and so much sweeter. That's really unlucky for the young midfielder. And as well, because with how he was setting up, I think all he's trying to do is let me just get this on target, let me test the goalkeeper, and let's go from there. Long ball forward for Fotheringham. Brandon, does he foul him? Does he catch him? What's the official giving? I think he might have given a foul. So that's really unlucky for Brandon, because he's probably summed up the game for Kilmarnock. High points, low points, high points, low points, hasn't he? Again, it's a little bit unlucky because he's going for the ball. He does catch him high. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he's got all eyes on the ball, and it's just great play from Fotheringham, who, I mean, you gave him plaudits earlier, and he's only proved you right for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he's been very good since he's come on. Feels like that fourth goal really just deflated Kilmarnock, and it's almost like they've not had the belief that they can get back into it once again. They've been on the trailing foot all game, it's felt. Of course, they did have the lead at one point, but didn't protect that very well.
No.
Did they? Of course, we've seen plenty of goals. Not the greatest of defensive displays from either side, but what a game it's been. And we've got 30 seconds remaining of it as we see Stanton applying the pressure, fouls his man, kicks the ball away as well. I'm not sure if he's going to get yellow carded for that one. No, he's not. And we now see Rice. He's going to leave the free kick for his goalkeeper to take, and his goalkeeper's told everybody to get forward. It's Strijic, the man with the free kick, just in his own half, right next to the halfway line. Everybody's forward. Brandon's been told to stay back just in case of a counter-attack. Long ball, well headed away. Great header away from the defence of St Johnstone. Hooked back in towards the area. Diabate heads this one away. Good defending from him, and they can come away with it. Chalmers just clears his lines. It's only as far as Brandon. We've hit the 6 minutes. Long ball up towards the area once again. Near no yellow shirt. Smith brings it down, hammers it away, and that is going to be full time. Well, what a start to the season this has been in this Sunday afternoon of Scottish Premier League football. It's the newly promoted St Johnstone who leave with their 3 points in an absolute thriller. It finishes St Johnstone 4, Kilmarnock 3.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can